Ron DeSantis alert. This is absolutely fascinating. You know, there have been these two bizarre videos. We've all seen them. In fact, I believe I played both of them on this program for people who are watching us on Free Speech TV or YouTube or on the web at freespeech.org or tom.tv. The first of those two bizarre videos was this weird homoerotic thing of Donald Trump saying that he supports LGBTQ people and he supports trans people and he thinks a trans woman should be eligible to serve and to participate in one of his beauty pageants. And he did say those things back in the day. And then it's interspliced with pictures of oiled up bodybuilding men, you know, with the muscles popping all over the place and guys carrying guns and shooting people and, you know, all this kind of testosterone-drenched macho imagery interspersed with rapid cuts of pictures of Ron DeSantis' face and Ron DeSantis in a military uniform and Ron DeSantis in a jet plane and, you know, all that kind of. He was not a pilot. He was a JAG officer. He was a military lawyer who worked at Guantanamo and watched and laughed while people were being tortured. But, you know, in any case, they're presenting him as some kind of military hero. That was the first one. The second one was equally bizarre, and toward the end of it, it had this I forget, Sonnenfeld, or whatever the last part of that word is. Sonne means sun, and it's a giant circular orange sun with fragments of swastikas rotating around it, around Ron DeSantis' head. It's literally Nazi iconography. It's an old and ancient Buddhist symbol that the Nazis appropriated along with the swastika, which was also an ancient Buddhist symbol. And when these two ads came out, these two television ads came out, the DeSantis campaign said, oh, we didn't do this. These were independent private groups that were pushing these things out. So, you know, yes, they're offensive, but they might be effective, but don't blame us. This would be sort of like, you know, the Willie Horton ad. If George Herbert Walker Bush had said, oh, I didn't do the Willie Horton ad. That was you know, some crazed guy who, you know, pushed it out there. At least George Bush owned up to his Willie Horton ad, right? Well, now it turns out that, sure enough, it actually was the DeSantis campaign, in fact, leadership of the DeSantis campaign, that helped produce and approved these videos, and then they laundered them through third-party influencers on social media so that they could claim that, oh, we didn't put Nazi symbology and we didn't do homoerotic stuff. This is just so weird. Ron DeSantis is like a weird guy. The more, it's sort of like, you know, when in 2005, after George W. Bush got reelected, he went on what was going to be a 25-city tour, or 27 cities, whatever, in the 20s, tour of America promoting his idea that we need to privatize Social Security, turn the whole thing over to the big banks in New York, including the $2.5 trillion sitting in the Social Security Trust Fund. Just give it to the banks. And the more he spoke on it, the less popular it became, to the point that he just abandoned it after a half a dozen or a dozen cities. He just said, screw it. You know, every time I give this speech, people just get pissed off at me. Well, the same thing's happening with Ron DeSantis. The more people see, only in this case, it's not a particular policy, it's Ron DeSantis himself. The more people see him, the more they dislike him, because he's a creepy guy. He's a weird guy. He laughs inappropriately. I think he's, well, he's eccentric. Let's call it that. Let's not try to put a psychological label on it. He's just odd. And sadly, or maybe not, this is the best the GOP has to offer right now in opposition to Donald Trump. Nobody else is above 3% in the polls. Now, it's going to be real interesting. I think it's August 23rd, is the Republican debate sponsored by Fox News. And Trump is now saying that probably he won't show up because the debate is going to be among people who want to be his vice president, because he's going to be the president. And actually, that's probably a good strategy for him. I mean, why show up, right? He's ahead 30 points.